Since they were first introduced, video games have been no stranger to controversy. Be it because of their effect on players, holes in the stories, or just the pure bizarre nature of some games released, it seems there's always a debate going on in the video game world. Welcome to Trending 10, and today we're going to be counting down our picks for the top 10 video game myths. Oh, and also tread lightly, as there are some definite spoilers for certain games ahead. Alright, let's go ahead and dive on in. At number 10, many players have played the Final Fantasy series and believe 7 or 8 to be the best ones in the franchise. Due to the depth of the story and the sheer amount of time that it's been around, plenty of fan theories have popped up, but one of them stands above the rest. Now in Final Fantasy VIII, one of the protagonists is named Squall, and at the end of Disc 1 of the adventure, he is impaled by a shard of ice. But when you go on to Disc 2, this was back when some games were so big they needed to be on more than one disc, Squall is completely healed and no one ever even so much as mentions that he died. This has led fans to believe that the second half of Final Fantasy VIII is actually Squall's dream as he progresses from life into the afterlife, and that he truly is dead in the second half of the story, which would actually make a lot of sense since the second half of the game is much more fantasy heavy and dreamlike. Number 9. When the first Tomb Raider game was released, it seemed just about everyone wanted to see her naked. There were seemingly hundreds of cheat codes that could cause Lara to drop off all her clothes, but they were all obviously fake. Now, since the release of the game, there have also been seemingly hundreds of mods to do just that. What is it about people and wanting to take the clothes off of Lara Croft? I guess they just want to see those sweet, sweet polygonal bits. Number 8. Now in 1989, there was a game that was believed to have been developed by the Soviet company called Karvina Corporation. And we say was believed because there are so few copies of the game that there really aren't any official records saying who exactly made it. The game, Killswitch, was a survival horror title where the player navigated through a coal mine, but upon finishing the game would delete itself from your hard drive. Now, the legend of Killswitch was made even stranger when a man named Yamamoto Ryuichi managed to get himself a copy of the game on eBay for over $700,000 and announced that he would do a full playthrough on his YouTube channel. But the only video he ever uploaded was footage of him looking at his computer, weeping. Number 7. Super Mario Galaxy 2 is an incredibly fun, incredibly lighthearted adventure for the Nintendo Wii. But there's a certain aspect of it that has left many gamers scratching their heads, and also maybe a little bit hesitant to turn off the lights at night. When the player goes through Shiverburn Galaxy, you can see 3 figures standing over you observing your every move. No matter where you go in the level, they're always there watching you. Well, one little gamer got a little curious as to what they were, and did some digging into the game's coding and found that the art for the level is called Beyond Hell Valley. And the figures in question are referred to in the game's code as Hell Valley trees. Now, in case you've never played Super Mario Galaxy, there is no level called Hell Valley, and these figures definitely don't look like trees, as well as the fact that the figures are never really named or even referred to in any Mario game. So, just what the hell is Hell Valley doing in the game code? The world may never know. Number 6. Fallout 3 will go down in history as one of the best RPG adventure games of all time, but it will also go down in history for one of the strangest predictions of the future of all time. In this post-apocalyptic game, the player can pick up various radio signals which do everything from giving you advice to simply playing some entertaining music. But every once in a while, your radio will broadcast a series of numbers which you could technically rewrite into Morse code. Well, there's one series of broadcasted numbers in the game that, when translated into Morse code, gives the player the exact date and hour of the Deepwater Horizon oil rig disaster. A disaster that wouldn't happen until 2 years after the release of Fallout 3. Number 5. Portal is one of the greatest puzzle games of all time, and is also home to some very entertaining AI personalities. One of which, of course, is GLaDOS, who looks like a bunch of wires and metal at first glance. But if you look closer, she actually sort of looks like a human flipped upside down, which the developers have gone on record stating was indeed intentional. But what may not have been so intentional is the fact that GLaDOS doesn't just look like any human, she looks strangely similar to a bound and gagged woman upside down. Now that may sound very specific, but look at these 2 images. Don't they look eerily similar? Number 4. Everyone is familiar with Pokemon. After Pokemon Go, how could you not be? Well, Pokemon has definitely raised a lot of questions, as once you get past the very simple premise of the classic handheld games, there are some very strange details, the most glaring of which being, where are all the adults? I mean, almost all trainers you encounter are kids, and there are seemingly never any adults around. Well, one very interesting myth is that Pokemon actually takes place after a global war changed much of the world's lifestyle. In Pokemon Red and Blue, Surge even says, "My electric Pokemon saved me during the war, and you won't live long in combat," suggesting that there has recently been a war in the Pokemon universe. Number 3. Speaking of Pokemon, next up is a very chilling story. Now, when these titles were released in 1996, they were hugely popular in the States, but not nearly as popular in Japan, due to a very strange and very disturbing rumors surrounding the game's soundtrack. When the game was released, there was a sudden increase in child suicides between the ages of 7 and 14, which was the target audience of the game. Naturally, this led people to pointing fingers at Pokemon for causing such an incident, but the bizarre details of the finger pointing is what gets this story on the list. People believed that it was okay to play the game until you reached Lavender Town, because the music accompanying the location would cause nausea and suicidal thoughts in children. Now, this may sound ridiculous, but there was so much outrage about it that the soundtrack was actually changed before being released in America, and we wound up getting a different tune for Lavender Town. Number 2. We all know The Legend of Zelda as the legendary franchise it is today, but it once sparked huge controversy upon the release of the first game in 1986. Why? Well, take a look at the map of the third dungeon. Looks a little familiar, right? After the game was released, parents were in an uproar and demanded that the game be pulled from sale. But if you look at the map and then look at a Nazi swastika, you can actually see the points are facing opposite directions. Now, you may not know this, but a reverse swastika, like the one in The Legend of Zelda, is actually a symbol of peace in Hindu mythology. Of course, this didn't stop parents from being in outrage upon the release of the game, and it definitely didn't stop fan theories about the game being a metaphor for the Nazi invasion. And finally, number 1. Finishing up our list is the terrifying tale of the haunted Majora's Mask cartridge. This story and the images and video proof that accompany it were discovered in a thread on 4chan, in which an anonymous user had found an N64 cartridge of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask with the artwork sticker ripped off the cartridge and in place, Majora written on it in Sharpie. He started up the game and found a save file titled Bin. He ignored the save file and simply made a new game and started his adventure. But strangely enough, all of the NPCs would refer to him as Ben. After noticing this, he went back to the main menu and deleted the bin save file and started a new game. But then the game started acting out by playing music backwards and having a statue of the main character follow him wherever he went. Oh, believe me, it gets even worse. After backing out of the game and returning to the main menu, not only was the bin save file restored, but there was a second file titled Drowned. The Legend of the Haunted Majora's Mask cartridge has earned its place in internet history and is the perfect way to finish up our list. Belief or disbelief rests with you. But if you've got any other video game myths of your own, be sure to let us know down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, drop a like and subscribe for more great content. But alright, that's it for this one, guys. Thanks so much for watching Trending 10, your guide to what's viral right now. And we'll see you all in the next one.